What's your thoughts on the J Hus album?
So my thoughts on the J Hus album. I'll be honest. J Hus. So he put out 2 tunes before he released the album. Um, the second one was uh, the one featuring Drake, and the first one was like an individual thing. And I'll be honest, when I first heard the first tune he dropped, I wasn't really a fan of that. I think he was just dropping that to let people know he's back. You know what I mean? When I heard it, it was good. It wasn't shit.
Are you talking about the one that was me?
Yeah, when he's glorifying.
It's haram. It's
Yeah,
haram. Still,
yeah.
it is haram.
He's glorifying the devil, all of that. But people are forgetting he's been doing that from time. Shade Bar have been talking about this from back then.
Because I didn't remember hearing someone say he was doing bare judge at one point.
Remember, you guys are forgetting when he was posting the pictures about the, the voodoo dolls.
Yeah.
He's been doing this for time, bro. So, listen, I think that's just his whole music image. That's part of his image, isn't it? I don't push that. I don't glorify that. But if that's what he's doing, that's him, innit? Me, I don't agree with that, but that's what he's doing, innit? But in terms of J Hus, when he dropped that first tune, it was alright. It wasn't anything mind blowing. I didn't, leave listening the tune, or I didn't come away from from listening the tune and think, wow, that was something wavy. That was hard. I didn't think that at all. I just thought, you know what, this is a tune just to let people know he's back. And then he dropped a tune with Drake. Now, when you're dropping a tune with Drake, Drake has collaborated with a lot of UK artists. They've all been bangers. Unfortunately, in this occasion, it wasn't a banger.
You know what?
It wasn't a banger when I first listened to it.
Because you know what? I feel like...
My opinion did change.
Because I listened to it and I think... I feel like people were forcing the hate. Because Drake's part was... Obviously, his entrance was a bit shit. I can't lie. That... Right, let's shut down. Nah, don't fuck all of that stuff, all that light skin shit. But it's like...
That's funny, man.
But as he got into it, it got better, you know what I mean? So it was one of them ones.
Do you know what it is? And I said this on another podcast, innit? When I heard Drake's verse, I thought that was just like a dead little meaty verse that Drake sent to him. I don't even think that was a proper verse that Drake put any effort in. I thought Drake was just in the studio. He's on tour right now anyways. Like, he's even got an album that's meant to be dropping this week or next week. You know what I mean? For all the dogs. That's meant to be dropping this week or next week, apparently. And, he's got a lot of shit going right now. So I think he just thought, you know what? Like, a lot of people have been hinting at a Drake verse or a Drake collaboration with J Hus. He's dropping his album. Obviously, like, he brought out J Hus at his O3 show when he came out of prison as well. So let me just give him like a quick little verse, innit? I think that was like a last minute thing. Because even when I heard the auto-tune, I've never heard Drake sound like that before. The auto-tune, everything, it sounded off, it sounded different. It didn't sound like something that I've heard Drake. But I just didn't hear, I don't know, it was very different, innit? So when I heard the verse, and he was saying a lot of things that he said before in other tunes, like, controller, and, I think he was just trying to, like, remix a lot of the old verses that he's given for people, like the Dave verse that he done with Wanna Know, and then, he done the tune with, who did he do the tune with? I think it sounded a lot like the verse that he done with Skepta and Wizkid. When he done the remix on Olu Gemma? The proper Nigerian tune that Drake and Wizkid and Skepta done.
Nah, I don't even know about that one still.
Pre-me, them a pre-me. They only call me when they need me.
Nah,
you never heard that?
Fucking
Fucking hell. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, man. When I heard that verse, it just gave me like, I don't know, this guy was trying to take inspiration from them type of tunes there. But then when the full album dropped, my opinion kind of changed on both tunes. The tunes made a lot more sense. Even last night, the club that I was at last night, they played the tune, and it sounded a lot better. It still could have been better. Drake could have given a better verse, and it would have made the tune a lot better. J Hus delivered. He done what he needed to do, but I don't think Drake Drake done what was needed. He didn't live up to the expectations on that tune. And but one thing I will say, the tune on the whole, it sounds a lot better. That's one thing I will say, because that album, there's not one bad song on there.
Having this all of it, I think with what was one of the songs? Was it Come Over? Or it was one of them. There was one song I weren't really rocking with too much.
Come Over.
Let me find it. Let me find it. Give me a second.
Because I'll be honest, I heard every single tune. The one with CB,
Yeah,
Cream,
that was
that's a
cold.
banger. Especially the production on that tune. The production on that tune is very good. Very theatrical as well. It gives you a whole like storyline of different events and shit. The CB Cream tune, that tune's a banger.
Yeah, right.
The tune with Georgia Smith is wavy as well. The Burna Boy tune as well, that one's a banger.
Come Look was the one I didn't like.
Come Look.
Yeah.
Okay. Come Look. Was that featuring anyone?
No, I think that was a solo.
Yeah, Come Look. Is that the one?
Yeah, that one.
Nah, that tune's a banger. That was produced by TSB. Nah, that tune's a banger. I'll be honest, do you know what it is, yeah? Every single tune on that album, and I'm not here capping, I'm saying the honest truth, I could listen to that all day. I could listen to that all day. That album, I came away from listening to that project and I was like, wow, you know what? We've actually got a decent project finally. Like, you know, when you listen to like a mixtape or an album and you're like, fucking hell, that was actually a listen. Like, that was good. I finally had that feeling again, because a lot of the projects that's been coming out of the UK, they've been lacking, man.
No, I feel like, because do you see Loski? I wrote this down somewhere, man. He only got, on his project, he only got like 13 downloads, something like that.
Was it Loski?
Yeah, it was Loski.
Yeah, you see? So only 13 people physically bought the tune online.
Which is a bit wild.
That just shows how a lot of these artists in the UK, they're relying on streams.
But I feel like that's the new method though. Like, streams is streaming platforms are here to stay. For that's the way people.
Yeah,
listen
but
to
remember,
music.
a lot of people are still buying tunes on iTunes at the same time. It is the new, don't get me wrong, it is the new way of making money, but a lot of people are still buying tunes as well.
I hear you.
It just shows that a lot of these people, their fan base, they're not really
Dedicated.
they're not really dedicated to really put their own money in their pockets. You know what I mean? Like, even I heard with what's his name? Is it Bandokay?
Yeah.
Bandokay from OFB. He had about what, 20 or something. So Bandokay made around Killer's M.A.R.K. So it was like a tribute album to his dad, innit? And yeah, it didn't do well, unfortunately. RIP to Mark Duggan every single time as well. But yeah, that project there, physically, it didn't do a lot. Like, it heavily relied on streaming, and even that, it wasn't a lot that they generated first week.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember someone tweeted it, and I even quote tweeted it. I remember, and yeah, man, it was kind of crazy. I'll be honest. Now that you can now get access to what artists are making in terms of money, It's really giving an insight into how the music industry really works and
Because
who really is making money and who isn't.
I was speaking to like a friend in it. Obviously, I'm not even gonna reveal too much about who he is. But anywho, he was telling me about like some of these big rappers. Some of them are probably UK top 10, top 15. Then the money they're showing you is not like that. They're not living like that. You know what I
No,
mean?
it's the label. There's the label that's it's either their advance that they got from the label or the label just financing everything for them.
That or they have money from like,
Yeah.
other sources type shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like a lot of these guys, like the labels, they help you with your image, innit? They'll make sure you look good. You got the nice watch, the designer clothes, the rental car. It's not yours. It's not the rappers, bro. It's all for image. And the rapper, they're gonna have to be paying all of that back once they're out of their deal. So once they recoup all the money that they've put into the artist, bro, I'll be honest. That's when, depending on what type of deal, the artist then will see some sort of bread from the money that's coming in. But a lot of the time, artists, they don't really see any money coming from any of the money. They don't see any money from the tunes that they put out through a label.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The label thing's crazy. Like I watched something. Our dads was saying like there's a guy who made a label 600 bags and he got back like 40 bands.
Yeah, you see,
Bro, that sounded like some way to know what. You know what I mean?
Nah, man. Do you know what it is? The music industry labels, they can be very snaky, man. Like you need to know what you're doing. You need to make sure you have like the right lawyers and the right people around you, because you can get finessed. A lot of artists can get finessed. You hear about it every day. Hardy Caprio coming out on the news talking about the labels trying to finesse him of his P's. It's not the first time. You hear about all the time the labels finessing me. Like Ray came out saying, "Oh, the label."
Was it Ray?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
Ray.
yeah.
The recent one was the girl, the mixed race girl.
Yeah, I was M.A.K.
M.A.R.K, I can't say her name. Yeah, she dropped an album recently, and she said something about the album. The label, they're not letting her release an album. She's been on the label for like
since
10,
14 or something.
yeah, since 14, and it's like the label, they're not letting her release an album, and somebody, I think Ray said the reason why the label ain't letting her drop her first album is because apparently she hasn't made enough. She hasn't made the label enough or something like that.
But if she, bro, yeah, some of these labels move like some slave owner type shit.
Yeah, man. I'll be honest. Music labels, man, they can. Oh, bro, if you're not there, if you ain't got the right people around you, man, it can be crazy for you. I'll be honest. It'll be a hard time.
I was speaking to one person or so, and he was telling me that with some of these labels, they sign artists just to bench them, so no one else can actually get their signature.
Yeah, they do. There was one guy, what's his name? They were saying he was going to be the next Dave. His older brother is part of Harlem Spartans. He's a very well-known guy. I think they're doing it to him right now. I think he's signed to Universal as we speak. I'm not going to say his name actually. But yeah, he's done a couple like drill freestyles. He ended up going viral off of some of his tunes. I think I've got his music. Oh, but they're doing it with him. I don't think he knows though.
Ah, that.
So I shouldn't say his name then, should I?
Yeah, nah.
No,
Off the record, innit?
Yeah, let me not even say his name. Well, to be honest, he's gonna know now because I've said his older brother is part of Harlem, so he'll know.
Yeah.
People will know who I'm talking about. But this guy is a very good artist, very good rapper, very lyrically talented. He's got a good pen, and they were saying he was going to be the next Dave and everything. And I think he's signed now. He's signed to Universal, and he's put a couple tunes out. But this is what labels do: they'll sign artists and they'll hide them for a bit. They'll bench them. They'll let you release a couple tunes. They won't promote it as much. They'll just leave it there as underground. You know what I mean? Like you're just hot and bubbling. A lot of the time, a lot of these artists, you look at their views, they might have like 18k, 25k, 40k views, 50k views. Like they're not really pushed a lot, they're not promoted a lot. They're just there on the sidelines, innit? And then a lot of the time, when it's their time, when it's ready for them to be pushed in the forefront, that's when they push them out there. So then when all the listeners see who this artist is and they come out with this big tune or this big banging tune, because obviously they're with the label, they've got the best producers, they've got the best songwriters. So they promote this big hit tune that they're probably going to gift them to push out there for the artist. That's when they then look at their catalogue and they look at all the other tunes that they've done and all their tunes that they've put that are very low and underground. And then, yeah, they just trace them from that. But yeah, labels do that. They've done it with Central C.
Because from what with the Sense situation, the only thing I know about, because apparently he was independent, but
Well, apparently he wasn't.
But then he
was-
YB's was saying he got the distribution deal, and then that's how they blew up.
Yeah, but that's when they first announced that they had a distribution deal. He was with the label before that. This guy was getting people from the industry help. Remember, Central C was on tunes with J Hus, Young Gun. I already told you he was on a tune with AJ Tracy, Dave through Red Bull as well. He was getting help from Morgan Keys.
Rings of Big Bell.
Morgan Key, you know the white brother. He used to have his own radio show. He was very well known for managing Fredo.
Okay.
And he was an A&R as well. He used to manage Western. I don't know if he still does. Morgan Keys, but he was very well known for videotaping. Like he videotaped a lot of people's videos. Yeah, if you like, especially back in the day, like a couple of years back, like from 015 to maybe 017 days. A lot of the big music videos, he used to videotape them, Morgan Keys. That's how I first found out about Morgan Keys, through the videos that he used to put out as a video director and that. But yeah, Morgan Keys apparently used to finance him, used to pay for his music videos and that, studio sessions. And this is what Bambino told me.
Shit then.
This is what I'm telling you, bro. This guy Central C is an industry plant, bro.
Yeah, this is gonna.
Yeah, Central C is an industry plant. Like he also told me what ethnicity Central C is.
I swear he's like Colombian and Chinese.
No, he's Chinese and Irish.
Irish, fucking hell.
But his dad is Asian, like I think Chinese Asian, but he grew up in, I think, Guyana.
Oh.
You know how they've got Asian people in the Caribbean as well.
Yeah.
His dad, yeah, he's like one of them. He's like Asian, but from.
He grew up
in the Caribbean, and I think his mum's Irish.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I think they ended up, Bambino and Central C ended up meeting each other in Brighton. Cause apparently Central C was going through some stuff, so he ended up moving into his cousin or his brother's yard. I think his cousin's yard in Brighton, and apparently one day he just saw him walking on the street. That's what he told me.
Yes. Now, talk to me about the whole, because you're telling me about someone called Geovarn.
Yeah, Geovarn. I interviewed Geovarn. Geovarn is he's a very good artist. He's an artist that, do you know what it is? One thing I've realized in the UK, artists that do a very different sound that isn't as popular, they don't get pushed. They don't get pushed into the forefront, you know what I mean? Even if it's very good, even if their sound is very good, even if their music is very good quality music, because it's not popular, or because it's quite niche, or like a sub sound, or it might be big like in America, but over here it's not big, they won't get pushed into the forefront. So they end up staying underground a lot, you know what I mean? And Geovarn is one of those guys. Geovarn, he does like R&B but UK rap, you know what I mean? He's very what's the word? Versatile. He can dive into different sounds, you know what I mean? But when I listen to his music, he gives me like The Weeknd type of vibes.
Okay.
Like when you listen to his songs, there's a couple of his tunes and you're thinking, oh, this guy, he sounds like The Weeknd. Even his music videos, like they're proper cold, innit? You can see he puts a lot into his into his craft, innit? And I'll be honest, Geovarn, I think I interviewed him, I think maybe a year ago, because I'm all about pushing good quality music. So you could be an artist that has no listeners, no views, a small fan base. If your music is something that I feel as if should be pushed out there, I'll push it out there, innit? And I'll give you a platform. And Geovarn, he was one of them guys, innit? So I think what happened with Geovarn is he was actually signed. He was signed to Sony, and they released 1 or 2 tunes with him. But I think what happened with Geovarn is I think they ended up letting him go. But what's crazy about Geovarn, the day that they ended up letting him go, it was the day when one of the UK's biggest rappers got stabbed at Sony.
But can we say his name?
Listen, put 2 and 2 together,
Yeah.
people are gonna know who it is.
Do your homework. Do your homework.
There was an incident a couple years back. Allegedly, a certain very big UK artist got stabbed at Sony Music Records in Kensington High Street. And that was the same day Geovarn, because I spoke to Geovarn, he told me he went to the label that day. And allegedly, it was that same day when a big artist got stabbed.
Okay.
He had a meeting there, and they just told him, you know what, we're not looking to like carry on like working with you. But yeah, that's what he told me. Allegedly, that's what happened.
Okay.
So that is kind of crazy. But in terms of Geovarn, he's one of the artists that I think a lot of people should be tapping into. Cause he even dropped a banger. It's a sample. I think it was a whole year ago now that he dropped it. People need to go and type it in. Geovarn. He is someone to look into.